Hey beautiful mamas. So remember how I've been saying how ready I am for school to be back in and for fall to come? I'm feeling like I'm changing my mind, and I wanted to speak today about mom's grieving change, because motherhood is change constantly. Our bodies are always changing through our cycle, through pregnancy, through postpartum. Hormones are always changing. Like, everything is changing. And then you have our kids who are constantly growing and developing and changing. And I just think change comes with motherhood, for sure. And a lot of times grieving comes with change. And it's not necessarily that we think anything is wrong or that we wish things weren't changing even, but there is just still a lot of emotion that can come with those changes. A lot of times it's guilt or regret, hoping and wondering if we've done enough. As our kids are growing and developing, I find myself, wondering, did I make the most of it? Did I do enough? Are things gonna continue going well for them? There's just a lot of uncertainty that comes along with changes. And so I just thought that we should really have a refresher on feeling our feelings and recognizing that emotions are a huge part of our human experience. There's nothing wrong with any emotion that we're feeling, and as long as we're not trying to avoid it or resist it, then it will run its course. We know that feelings are just a vibration in our body, which means they're harmless. It's really our thoughts that can get pretty messy. If we're really just truly experiencing a feeling, there's not much drama involved in that. It's just noticing what's happening in our body. If we can just pay attention to the actual physical sensation that's coming from the feeling and not worry too much that our mind maybe is kind of jumbled. Like, our thoughts don't have to make sense. We just are feeling the feeling and allowing that emotion to run through us. It will run its course rather quickly. And yes, it might be resurfacing. And as we just allow it and feel it, over time, our mind will catch up and we'll start getting some clarity. We'll be able to sort through all of the things that are running through our minds and just recognize that the feeling is just a feeling. So for a second, I want you to picture laying down on your bed and the emotion of, let's say, sadness, because I feel like a lot of sadness can come with times of change. You picture somebody with a shot, like an injection, full of sadness. And as you're laying there, they're gonna inject it into your body, and you're gonna feel that sadness kind of spread throughout your body. It's just a feeling. You're just letting it be there. And after 30, 60, 90 seconds maybe, it has run its course and it's passed through your whole body. That really is what a feeling is like. As our thoughts go crazy, that's what perpetuates the problems and the feelings and what kind of snowballs, because our mind is racing. But if we're able to just really sit in that feeling, it will allow us to actually move forward and move on from that feeling. As you continue to process the feeling, it will have less and less power over you because you will stop being so afraid of it. When we're afraid of a feeling, we're trying to avoid it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to deal with that. Maybe it's scary or maybe it's uncomfortable, and so we're trying to get away from it. And so we are maybe eating or maybe cleaning or scrolling or doing all these things to try to distract ourselves from the feeling, when in reality, it's just a lot simpler road to just feel the feeling. So let's go through a few examples. My kids just started school, so there's a big change in our routine and our rhythm, that now the big kids are going off to school and now my toddler and I are home by ourselves for the day. It's an exciting change. I went into it very optimistic, and pretty much immediately, maybe a few days in, I recognized, like, oh man, this is a huge change. The grade that my daughter is now in is very different. They have fewer recesses and there's a lot more expected, like they're all of a sudden big kids, and she's not really feeling ready for that. And so I have found myself really grieving this change for her, and wishing she could stay at home, and wanting things to go well, and wanting to keep her from feeling those uncomfortable feelings. And if you notice, all of those reactions are my brain trying to fix it. How can we fix this? Because it's easier to fix it than to just feel it. Right now, I'm honestly kind of feeling sad that she's getting so big. I'm feeling pretty sad that she's not necessarily loving school at the moment. And instead of just letting myself feel that sadness, I'm jumping into fixing it. Well, what could I do? How could I change this? What could I do to make this different? And in a way that is resisting the feeling, and I'm only perpetuating the problem. Feeling the feelings allows us to be in a clearer frame of mind to then really weed through the thoughts that are there, and to eventually maybe pick some new ones, right? So right now my thoughts are, I wish she had more recess, or maybe this isn't going to be a good fit for her. Maybe I'll end up homeschooling again. It's not good for her to be so stressed. Those thoughts are there, and there's nothing wrong with them. It's just good for me to be aware. Those are the thoughts that are creating the feelings I'm having. So I'm feeling probably some stress, some anxiety, definitely some sadness. And once I just let myself feel whatever I'm feeling, then I can move into, okay, how could I look at this differently, right? What if this is exactly as it's meant to be? What if her school experience right now is exactly as it's meant to be? And I could kind of go through and think about that. Or what would this look like if it were easy? Because some people might see my situation and think it's very easy, right? So there's always a different way that we can look at it, but first we have to feel the feeling. You already know, the thing I always have to say is to not judge the feelings, to not judge the thoughts. Thoughts are just coming into our minds. Feelings are coming from those thoughts. And if we're judging ourselves, meaning you shouldn't be feeling sad about that, that's ridiculous, or I can't believe you're thinking that, that judgment only exacerbates the problem. It makes it even worse, and we feel then all these other feelings because of that thought, because of that criticism, because of that judgment. So do you see the power in just feeling the feeling, trying to quiet the drama, to judge that feeling, and to just feel it? This is sadness. This is stress. Isn't it interesting how it kind of takes my breath away? Man, my heart is pounding so fast. Holy cow, my stomach just feels like it's in knots, right? I'm just noticing, I'm just observing what's happening in my body from a place of curiosity, knowing it will pass, knowing that as I can just sit with that, it will get easier and easier. It might come up again, and that's totally fine. The more it comes up, the more I'm able to deal with it. So I encourage you, as you notice changes happening in your life constantly, and especially if there's times of big changes, if you're grieving those, if you're feeling sad or kind of weighed down by those things, just let yourself feel it. It's okay to be sad. My friend commented the other day how much she loves that I will say, I had a few tears over this certain thing. And it really is that for me. If I'm feeling sad, I feel sad. And in about a minute, I don't really feel sad anymore. And that sounds maybe strange to you, but that is because I'm truly just feeling the feeling and not letting my brain go wild to keep feeling sadder and sadder and sadder, because that can easily happen. You're feeling sad about something, and the more you think about it, the sadder you get. Whereas if you feel that wave of sadness kind of washing over you, and for me it's like this urge to cry, right? Like I'm feeling really sad. if I will just let those tears come, just feel the feeling, it really does wash over me pretty quickly. And if I'm having a sad day, that happens all throughout the day, and that's okay. But it's not this continuous, unbearable experience. It's just waves of pain, waves of sadness washing over me. It's really just a feeling and nothing to be scared of, nothing to push away or try to sweep to the side. Just let it come over you and then it will pass. So, hope you have a great week. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I'll see you very soon.